That's a good one. That's a good one. Oh God, it's a toad, son. It's a toad, dude.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day.
Oh.
He's like, is anybody there?
Oh man.
Oh.
Look, it's been
Oh,
long day. Long day.
long day.
Running on 3 hours of sleep for everyone listening.
Well,
But that's how she be sometime.
you gotta get your life right.
Yeah, and you know how else you get your life right? Head on over to onecastfishing.com. Use the code ONECAST, all one word, at checkout. Get your hands on all the snagless jigs, weedless nets, soft plastic, long neck hooks, and everything else that One Cast Fishing has to offer. I'm holding a 5-inch stinger right here.
I got a Nighthawk.
I got another Nighthawk right here. So head on over and get those little things. We'll talk about these a little bit here in a little bit. So also while you're online, use that link that we always drop in the description to head on over to Hobie Eyewear, get your hands on all the different frames and lens options they have to offer. Check out the different floating frames, man. Never lose another pair of sunglasses again. Before your next fishing trip, head on over to your app store, download the Deep Dive app, help break down different bodies of water, get all the different features that Deep Dive has to offer. They've been a great partner of the OneCast for several years now, and we appreciate their support. So head on over there, pay for that annual subscription, catch more fish. Also, moving to Central North Carolina, you're going to need a good realtor to get you squared away in the home of your dreams, and that person is no more than Uncle Terry Carpenter himself with Howard Perry Walson and Caldwell Banker. Terry is a licensed real estate agent serving the Central North Carolina area, and you can reach him at carpentert@hpw.com. And then finally, our boys out of Indianapolis, Indiana, the Waymeyer Group. Hit those guys up. They got everything you need for boat trailer parts. Actually, I was just having a conversation with Pete Shandrick Sr. right here, and he said that Waymeyer got him squared away for his Ranger trailer, everything that he needs. So you guys can shoot them a call at 1-800-434-4824. They got customer service representatives that are subject matter experts on standby, and they speak perfectly good English, so you'll be able to understand everything that's going on.
Yeah, Peter, those guys at Waymeyer hooked me up.
There you go.
2 days shipping. It was here in 2 days. I got a brand new boat trailer now.
That's right.
I feel safe. No more fires.
No more fires. Pete, what you got there is a snazzy little heart bait.
Yeah, man. It's a little Waymeyer on there.
Love it.
800. Got the number.
Yep.
Oh, no, that was too close, apparently. But yeah, they help go man up.
Yeah. So what's going on, gents?
Another day, man. Another 25 cents. You're gone. But my wife and my boyfriend are out of town. So she said something
You're
when she
living
was
that
leaving.
single life. What are
She's
you shaking
like,
around, you gumball?
Oh, this is a Game Reaper baits. I forget what theirs is called.
What is that?
That is awful.
It's
You know
an
what?
urchin style bait.
That's thick. That is.
Yeah, dude.
For all you don't know, I'm
That's
sitting.
thick.
I'm
We got
sitting-
bigger ones. We got smaller ones.
So that literally looked like the hair in the picture that I seen that your mom has sitting on one of the mantles here in one of the picture frames from back in the day when Pete had a nice little goatee and he had that big old fro looking hair and stuff like that. So that's what it is. It's Pete fro. We call that Pete fro.
That is it. Yeah, I don't remember what the urchin bait's called, but I like it. They got some cool rigging things. Local Sanford, North Carolina tackle company. So you can check out Game Reaper. They're not a sponsor of the show, but they got some good stuff. You know, Nick is local with Rattle Shot. They've got some different urchin style baits I got out in the kitchen. One thing Game Reaper has though that I thought is pretty cool, I got some to try, is they made this. Let me see if I can get it to focus here.
Or they well, go ahead.
They custom made these rigging rivets.
Mhm.
So it goes up in the bait. They don't use TPE, but they've got a super strong plastic they're using. So it goes up in the bait like so. And then it's got a hole drilled in the top. You run your hook through, and then it's just got some shrink wrap on there so your hook doesn't come through. So it gives you another rigging option. So something pretty neat. I haven't got to mess with a whole lot yet. I've caught some on the Game Reaper baits, but gonna mess with that rigging. You know, I've been playing with different rigging styles. So far, I still like the frog hook the best. So that core tackle or the Renal tackle hook is a good one. I know you've had a lot of success with that. So it's been fun to have a little bit different technique to sort of play with different things and figure out different ways to rig it and fish it.
Absolutely.
Wow, since we had something, and then I showed y'all that bait that Milliken was showing off. Showed a video if you check him
The
out.
elongated one.
That was 6 cents bait. It's called like the Hoogwalla or something. I don't know, but I just ordered a bunch of them. They just dropped them yesterday. So I'm gonna get them and give them a try. They're like a 5-inch Cinco bait with a bunch of appendages like that. So just something different, man. It's cool to have. I guess it's not really super innovative. They've been doing that stuff in Japan forever, but
I mean, yeah,
making its way over here gives us options.
I mean, we've seen urchin styles or like the dice baits and very similar concepts for a long time. It's always been a JDM kind of niche thing, but hey, when someone wins and it takes off, it takes off. So,
yep.
It's interesting. I went down the rabbit hole the other night about because like the actual Koiki baits are TPE, so it's a harder plastic. Now everyone and their mom, because they've been so effective, they're making plastisol baits with them, a lot softer. Which, hey, sometimes that might be more effective, right? Who knows? You'll lose more baits with them, but then you might get a better hookup ratio or that plastic tears away. But they've got like this gel, like this kind of liquid TPE gel or this other stuff that like you can add to your plastisol that hardens it up, kind of mix between the two. And it's pretty fascinating to go down the rabbit hole on the plastic stuff.
I'm curious to see, from a material standpoint, not so much in the dead of the summer like we are right now, but I'm curious to see how they do in the winter, right? In true like cold water, in that low 50s, maybe high 40s on a place like Bugs Island or Lake Gaston or something or anywhere else. I'm curious to see like, how the TPE versus non-TPE versus harder plastisol, like how that affects everything in the winter, because we know like a lot of times in the winter is a lot of dead sticking, a lot of slow movement sometimes, but it depends on the species of fish too. Like spotted bass are super aggressive in extremely cold water. So I'm curious to see what that looks like. And I'm sure during the winter time, during the quote unquote off season, we'll have more on how those things operate in cold water.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah. So, let's see. I guess the big news in the fishing world is the old changes to the BFL.
Two big news is BPT roster and BFL changes.
Yeah.
BPT roster, they actually announced a few weeks ago when the new class qualified. And then we didn't know
all the guys being dropped.
No, we didn't find that out till yesterday, but everybody knew who the new guys were.
And look, when it talks about the guys being dropped, we don't know if some of those guys retired voluntarily. So this year they had a field of 51. BPT next year have a field of 50, so they're losing one. But like guys like Dean Rojas or Elton Joe Jr., we don't know if they. I don't think they've officially put out whether or not they were cut or they're retiring, what it is, but. The one that surprised me the most not going to be there is Fletcher Skyrock. I guess he won't be on the BPT next year. But hey, the new guys and our boy Will Harkins made it. That's awesome.
Yeah. Will qualified a couple weeks ago along with all the other guys at the end of that. So definitely cool to see Will going out there. I'm trying to find it because I can tell you.
Which one? I got it up. What do you want to know?
I'm just pulling up. I'm pretty sure Fletcher and all of them that didn't. I don't think anybody retired this year. They were cut because they didn't. There's no drop year anymore.
Just the article I read, it didn't specify, and so I don't know. So the 6 guys left off were Dylan Hayes, Elton Jones Sr., Kobe Miller, Dean Rojas, Fletcher Skyrock, and Greg Vincent, and they're being replaced by, of course, Will Ryan. Was it Lashnet? He won the Rookie of the Year, I think, for the pro circuit.
So let's see.
Connor Jacob, Carter Nutt, brother of Dylan Nutt, Bassmaster Classic winner, and then Brody Campbell.
What they
So
cut? They cut 10, right?
They cut 6.
6. So Jones didn't requalify. Faircloth didn't requalify. Dylan Hayes, Fletcher Shryock, John Hunter, Greg Vincent, Edwin Evers, Dean Rojas. That's the 6, and none of them requalified.
Edwin Evers is no longer going to be in the BPT.
No, he's still there.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, so Dean must have retired, which let Edwin stay in because Edwin was the last man out.
I think you're right. I think I did
Yeah.
see something about Dean
So
Rojas.
if Rojas retired, then that is saved Edwin Evers' spot.
Dang, big news on the BPT side. I mean, there ain't no. I mean, we all know our buddy Zach Burge ain't going nowhere, so he's had a phenomenal year, one of the best
Yep.
anglers in the country. But
Absolutely, he's probably
cool.
going to win
It's-
AOI
it's-
in 2 leagues.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's cool to see Carter Nutt make it. And, if you guys go back to any of our shows, like on Spotify, Apple Podcast, stuff like that, you can – I think we did a couple episodes. I know we did one at least with Will Harkins when he fished the NPFL. So you can kind of go back in time and get his story if you want to learn a little bit more about him and see how he walked away from the NPFL, and this was his first year fishing the Major League Pro Circuit and qualified for the BPT. He's a heck of an angler, young talent, very humble, and huge congratulations to Will Harkins, man.
Yeah,
A lot of
Dustin requalified too, which is super cool. Glad to see him get another
That's
year.
right. Yeah. And he posted about it. He's like, man, I'm glad that, or humbled to requalify and, fish against some of the best in the world. And he's not wrong, especially with Dustin's, way of fishing and the way he likes to catch them and stuff like that. And it poses some serious challenges, but I think you're going to see something out of Dustin next year, man. He's really starting to adapt to that format. And he's another one, folks. Go back in time. We've had a couple episodes with Dustin, and we've had 2 episodes with him, I think.
Yeah.
And check his story out too. Really impressive.
So it'll be exciting. I think they already released the schedule for next year. MLF's really on top of getting all their stuff out.
Oh yeah,
But of course, the big news this week was the BFLs
that's right.
and
That's
all the
right.
changes to the BFLs.
So all the rumors that have been coming out from in like people on social media and stuff, at least from the BFL side, seems to be
Yeah.
pretty
What's up, David
close to
Christine?
exactly what they said. I don't have any of that stuff pulled up, so if you guys want to run through this stuff, we can have a conversation about it because I have mixed feelings on it. I think there's good, and then there's unknown, right?
Yeah.
So
So
I think, go ahead.
I'm getting it brought up now. So off the top of my head, from what I remember, and you can fill me in more. And as I get the information coming up,
I've got it pulled up right here.
So it's going to a team format, but you don't have to fish with the team. You can fish individually. I think there's 20 divisions across the country. You and your partner, or you by yourself, you have to at least fish 3 out of the 5 in order to qualify for to be eligible to qualify for those regional tournaments. And as I understand it, like if like Trey, you and Pete fished 3 and did well enough to qualify, but then like Pete or Trey couldn't fish any, then like I could fill in to do 2. I just wouldn't be qualified because I didn't fish the number of qualifiers. I wouldn't be qualified for the national. So you can kind of have like a 2 or 3 man sub thing if your partner doesn't want to if whatever your partner can't make it and he doesn't want to fish individual, you can do that, which is nice. I think 5 regional events, which means there's more opportunities to make Red Crest and then qualify for the pro circuit. But the biggest thing is that the entry fees are going to $500 per team, whether you fish individually or not. But the payouts are pretty good. I think it's like what, 20K.
So there's 5. I'll just break down real
read
quick
it
a little
off.
more. There's 5 regions across the country, 4 divisions per region. That's where you get your 20. So a total of 100 one-day qualifying tournaments, $10,000 guaranteed first place, regardless of the number of boats. With Phoenix boats, which is 7,000. If you're running a Phoenix, you can 22,000 for the top award. They guarantee $700 to the top 20% of the field, regardless of boat size, field size. Sorry. So 20, you're at least going to make your entry fee and a little bit of gas money back if you finish in that top 20%. The All-Americans no entry fee. They stepped up the prize there a little bit. It's $120,000 Phoenix custom 250 21 foot top of the line Phoenix boat that's all custom for them. $20,000 for second place though, and $15,000 for third, and there's no entry fee for that. And then that one pays the top 20% of the field $1,000. And then let's see, each All-American Championship has teams from 4 divisions. 140 boats is capped there, which is pretty good. So at least your local your division championships only have 140 boats. Tournament winners and the top 30 teams from each division and points qualify for that. That's a 3-day tournament. This is all 5 fish catch traditional weigh-in. They even award team of the year $2,500 for points. Have to fish all 5 tournaments. And then the winner of the All-Americans get bid into Red Crest. I forget exactly how they break that down. I'm not going to go into all that, but pretty good payouts considering, based on 150 boats, the top 30 boats are getting paid at least $700. Big bass is $500. $500. So, payouts aren't bad. No NPFL, no BPT, no pro circuit, no elite series can fish it. So if you're qualified in fishing one of those tours, you cannot fish the BPT or the BFL. Sorry. I'll go ahead and give my opinion. I'll let you guys. I don't have a single issue with anything they're doing outside of the unrestricted forward facing. I think we've seen tournament anglers have an appetite for split on the forward facing, some with, some without. I understand you couldn't really do it like they were with, 3-hour periods without co's to sort of act as marshals. Then you're depending on both guys on a team to be honest. And anytime there's money involved, we know there's an increased chance that that's not going to be the case. So I think they should have taken the divisions and split the tournaments. If it's 5 tournaments, they should have done 3 and 2 one way or the other, or flip a coin like some of the other leagues have done. I thought about it today. I was torn on the NPFL guys not being able to fish them. But the more I thought about it is the NPFL considers himself up there with the big dogs and the big leagues. And if you want to consider yourself in a league with those guys, then if you're fishing, you've got to want to be treated like those guys. You may not spend the time or get the notoriety of like the Elite Series or BPT, but when you're fishing that, they're paying out the same money they're paying. You're paying entry fees like they're paying, traveling around the country, fishing, these big money tournaments. So I was actually writing a post earlier because I put up and asked folks, that follow me on social what their thoughts were. And I was posting, I think NPFL should be able to fish it. But then I sort of thought more about it, and we've heard Brad and Paul and guys fishing. They want to be up there with those other leagues with the BPT and elites and pro circuits and all of those. So if you want to do that, man, then your anglers are going to have to be considered in that same class. So it's, I think it's fair. I don't necessarily have an issue with it. I think it gives the local or average regional tournament guy, even your local home lake stick angler guy, a chance to go out there and compete for a chance at a national championship boats and Red Crest, which is obviously their classic. I'll continue to say it's not as big as a classic. It won't ever be, but it's it's a big tournament, big money. So I don't really have a problem with anything they've done. I know Trey and I talked a little bit, and I won't speak to him about the team or solo thing, but that's pretty normal in a team tournament format where they don't force you. I've seen a lot of big fields from guys that have co-angled for a long time, and hey, man, I get it. It sucks that opportunity's gone, but the co-angler is a dying breed. You look at less and less participation over the last 15 years. More boaters were stepping away because of they don't want some random guy, and they're now $120,000 boat. No offense to you, co's, and I know there's a lot of good ones out there that help wipe boats down and clean weeds off of trailers and give some gas money, but there's a lot of them that are lighting up cigarettes in the back of the boat and burning holes in carpet and stepping on rods and tearing stuff up. So, and if it's me, I don't want. I don't have a $120,000 boat, but my boat's $120,000 for me with comparative to my income and what I paid and the money that I put into it. I don't want somebody I don't know back there tearing stuff up. And that's why I didn't fish any BFLs or anything, because I didn't want that opportunity to have somebody I don't know in my boat that may not be respectful. But that's really me. I'm good with it. I think everything except for the forward facing thing, I'd like to see that split, because like I said, I think there's an appetite in the tournament world for the change. A lot of guys are still all ban it, but I think a happy medium with some tournaments with, some without, has worked pretty well for most of the organizations. So I'll let you guys talk.
I'm with you, Pete. I agree with most of the changes. Like the BFL was always kind of a little bit weird, because when you signed up, you had to have either as a boater or as a co-angler, you had to have a boater associated with you. But like you didn't. Then there was a random draw.
That was the only way to guarantee, I think, that you would get to fish is if you had the co-angler link.
Yep. So at this point, like, you guys either fish with a team or you can figure that out. But two, I think, the other big drawback that the BFLs the last few years were payouts, and that obviously contributed somewhat. And I think the payouts are much better now. I like the team/solo format, because look, if you want to go up with your buddy and fish, this is like the grassroots level. I'm all for that. If you don't want anybody with you, now you don't have to be associated with anybody to be like guaranteed a spot now in the BFL. You can fish solo if you want. Yeah. And there'll be less qualms about that. I would agree with Pete. It'd be nice to have some of the events, maybe half or just over half the events with or without forward facing sonar. But I will say, with the entry fees being risen, I think last year boaters had to pay $200 per event. I think co-anglers were $100, and so now you're averaging $250 if you got a 2-man team. $250. So entry fees have all gone up more. So theoretically, you have more serious anglers. When I say serious, right, guys who want to do this tournament thing involved. And let's be honest, pretty much all these people have we all have some version of life scope at this point. Whether it's like me, it was still with the LVS 32 from 2019, or you guys got the guys with the latest 44s, 42s, you got Mega Live, Lowrance and all that. So guys who tournament fish pretty much of all at this point have gotten it because they know they've got to have it, whether they like it or not. They've got to have it. So I don't think it'll be a huge limiting factor. But I think it's all been good changes. We'll see how it goes for them this next year, but I've got no problems with any of it.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be quick. I think it briefs well, and it's clearly way more sanctioned, and MLF has a track record that has an actual history. We saw what happened with the dual threat fishing thing last year, and that like briefed really well too, but this isn't something that they're going to rob you from. So I think anytime there's like high level events that are kind of affordable and give guys and gals that constantly wear like MLF and BASS patches all over the place, and like, they want to say that they did it. Like, I think it's great that these guys are opening the doors to having those opportunities. But what is that?
David Fuchs said Trey quick. Yeah, right.
Oh, David, we know you're not calling the pedal.
But I mean, seriously, this is the last thing I'll say on it. Like, I think it's a great opportunity for people to go out there and gamble and maybe make some money back. The only thing I'm curious to see what their draw is going to be. And I say that because now, a lot of people were deterred from fishing the BFLs, not only about co-anglers, but they didn't want to go fish against the local guy on that lake and lose to that local guy. Like, let's be honest, like a Tyler Trent on Bugs Island or someone else. Like, now you're fishing against two of the best on a team on that lake, right? So there's guys that don't want to fish it because of the co-anglers. There's guys that don't want to fish it because of forward-facing sonar, and there are guys that don't want to fish because they just don't want to donate their money to the best anglers on that lake. I do like the fact that the highest level bass competitors cannot drop down to that, because that truly is the grassroots. The likelihood of, like, for instance, Pete and I, like traveling to Lake Norman, let's just say it's Lake Norman, High Rock, or Bugs Island. Those are probably the 3 in North Carolina that they would have it on. The likelihood of us making money versus fishing the Fishers of Men, no brainer. We're fishing the Fishers of Men. But it's also an opportunity at the local level, the grassroots level, to promote and market local brands, regional brands, national brands, and stuff like that. So I think it's a great opportunity, and I think it briefs well, and I hope that it has a massive amount of success.
Now, you guys fish the Fishers of Men. To me, this sets up a little more similar to the Fishers of Men than it has in the past. And I will say, it's 5 divisions now, so they've decreased divisions. So,
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be like some of those BFLs were always on the same lake in some places around the country.
Yeah,
And that's the thing with the divisions. Like, if you have a Carolina division or whatever that division is, you may have a North Carolina, a South Carolina, a Virginia, a Florida, and something else, on that schedule for your 5 tournaments.
Exactly.
So it's gonna be spread out across a region instead of, to Ben's point, there was like 900 divisions in the old BFL. So Kerr Lake and High Rock were about the only 2 they fish BFLs on here in North Carolina anymore. It seemed like they might have thrown one on Norman from time to time, but those 2 it seemed like every other month, every other week in the summer, there was a BFL there, things like that. So Jeff Hodges says they need off limits week for the working man. I don't disagree, Jeff. We'll see. It seems like as much criticism as I've given old Boyd Duckett over the last several years, he's listening to anglers some. And I think he'll probably get that feedback if he wants it to be a true working man's, tournament trail. Then that would be one way to secure that, right? 5, the week before is off limits. The week of, you can practice. So guys, if they are fishing and traveling, can get an opportunity to get a couple of days before the tournament, not have to worry about the local sticks. And Trey, I respect the comment with not wanting to fish against the local sticks. I don't think it changes it doing it this way. There's really no way to change that, right? But
I think you
look at the Cat. You look at Cat Trail that fishes, like the Cat has just a series on Kerr Lake. They had how many boats in their championship? Like 100 and something, right? And that was their championship. So how many boats were they drawn to just those Kerr Lake Cat championships? Now those guys that are paying pretty deep, I think it's 2 something for the Cat to fish a tournament. Now if those guys want to go a little bit bigger, fish a little bit more regionally, not necessarily just the one lake or 2 lakes with Gasset and Kerr. I know they fish those 2 a lot. This gives you an option to go around. It gives you a chance at a national or a regional championship, and then a national championship with Redcrest. So I think it's a really cool opportunity. You're still talking $2,500 for the 5 derbies, though, right? $500 a piece. So I'll be interested to see if MLF does something to help with more regional exposure, where they have, maybe reach out to some of the local newspapers, magazines, those type of things, to try to provide some coverage at these things. To Trey's point, to give those teams that do get some support to fish the region the opportunity to promote more local business and a media to do that through, rather than just their own socials.
Yeah, you're going from I think 24 divisions in this year down to 5.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just looking. There's 2 in North Carolina. You've got the North Carolina division, which was High Rock, Kerr, Wiley, Norman so far. I assume they have 1 or 2 more. But you also have the Piedmont, which was Smith Mountain, Kerr, High Rock, and James River. Those would be the 2 local ones we had. But there's so much overlap.
Mm-hmm.
Even the Shenandoah division had a Kerr Lake on there. So, it'll be interesting how they draw it down. It'll be a lot less tournaments. Seems like on the water.
My big question is, because you guys know how they do, right? Every time there's a BFL on Kerr Lake, there's always a Cat tournament on Kerr Lake, right? And the biggest thing that I'm not sure that guys will, and who knows, it doesn't matter at this point. We'll see how it works out. But most of the guys that fish the Carolina Team Trail on Kerr Lake that win a significant amount of money, like Tyler and Ricky Trent, that have won $116,000 since they've started fishing it. If there's a cat going on that day, I'm wondering which one they'll choose.
It probably depends on the payout ratio.
Right,
I mean,
100%, right? Boat draw, payout ratio, all sorts of stuff like that. So,
but you might see less of those conflicts now because
That's what I was going to say.
like
You
I
may
said,
see.
you had 3 divisions that I just saw doing a random search here from this season.
Yeah,
that
they're
fished hard
fishing.
this year. The Piedmont, North Carolina, and the Shenandoah.
yeah.
But if you go down the 5 divisions for the whole country, like now you're looking at a lot less tournaments. That's also something interesting to consider because there's still 5 events a tournament. Entry fees have gone up. That's probably how they made up the difference in the revenue there, because you go from 24 divisions with 4 or 5 events to 5, but you double the prices almost,
Yeah.
for entry fees. So
Yeah. I'm just
but
looking.
like that means I would imagine you'll probably, and I don't know how they'll break out the regions. It should probably be North Carolina, South Carolina, maybe Virginia combined.
I would think. I'm looking at the divisions this year, and if you look at the South Carolina, they fished Murray, Santee, Hartwell,
But you also
Clarksville,
have
Murray. You had Shenandoah fish Kerr, Potomac, James, and Potomac.
South
You
Carolina also
had
has the
Piedmont,
Savannah River, which fits
Smith.
Hartwell in places.
Kerr, High Rock, James River. So they cross into James River in the Piedmont and Kerr
Mhm.
Lake again. So I could see North Carolina, Piedmont, and that one sort of combining into one East Coast or like Mid-Atlantic division where you fish from Virginia down to South Carolina. Florida would probably be its own still. They had like 11 divisions that fished all over the place. I'm looking at it now. They had the Gator,
division.
which fished a bunch. They had let's see what else they had. There's so many. So,
And they might split the kind of the state regions, like maybe the Panhandles with Georgia and Alabama. You know, and
they might add,
So-
Georgia, exactly. So it'll be interesting to see when that comes out, Ben. I agree. And to Trey's point, I was thinking that before you started talking about it, is our guys, the success of this probably hinges on their ability to look at the Cat Trail and Five Alive and some of the bigger local trails in the areas. I forget the ones up in Virginia,
Virginia Elite.
the VA Elites,
Yep.
70s, the Elite 100 and the 100s of teams. So if they can work around those,
Yep.
then it provides an opportunity for those guys to fish both, and it will help. If they don't and they start scheduling on top of them,
Yep.
you're gonna see some of your boat numbers go down, because a lot of those guys that are fishing those are the guys that are gonna fish something like this.
Yeah.
and
And I think,
the travel too.
yeah.
Like, think about, they combine a Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina kind of thing. Well, let's be honest, you're probably going to have one at either or 2 events at 3 places in South Carolina: Murray, Santee, or Hartwell. Right? In North Carolina, you're probably going to have Norman, High Rock, or Bugs. Right? So you got 4 events there, and then maybe you throw in the Potomac, James River, Smith Mountain. Depends on how they go it up. That's a lot more travel for guys too.
100%. And you brought something up about the price, but here's one good thing about it. And I said earlier about like Pete and I were Fisher's Men. We don't only fish it because of the money. We love the culture. We love the ministry and everything like that. But it does save money. So whereas you may have paid $200 as a boater and a co-angler paid $100, well, that co-angler who doesn't throw in any gas money, well, there's another $150, right? So now you're up to whatever. As a team, even though the entry fee is $500, the travel, the fuel, everything in theory would be split down the middle. So you actually might save, depending, because like Pete opened this up with, like, you have you can't mandate your co-angler pay for anything, right? And when they break something, there's nothing holding them liable to fix something, right? So like there's a whole bunch of like little things that I think this team format, or choose to do it solo, but I really think the team format, I think it's great. And I think team formats are absolutely the grassroots of competitive bass fishing. And that's why I don't know why a lot of clubs in North Carolina, Pete and I had this discussion before, and I'm not going to name any names of clubs, but man, local clubs are constantly hurting for numbers for monthly memberships and stuff like that. Like, guys, look, people like to fish as a team. So if you're a local club out there, you might want to look at that when you guys bring new business to your thing and say, why can't we draw more than 12 boats? But you're always having co-anglers there. Well, you know what? Maybe you create team events. I don't know. Do something different, right? So I don't know. I think it's cool though, man. And
they get 5 fish limit per boat. Whether or not it's you guys can fish with a team, and if you still have co-anglers, you want to do a draw, but it is still 5 fish for that boat.
Yep.
So like everyone can work together when they're on the water, and you're not, like the clubs we used to be, and you're not actually competing against your co-angler,
Right. Yeah.
type of deal. So
Exactly.
They don't want to show those co-anglers where their juice, man.
Yeah.
If I gotta fish with somebody else, I gotta show my holes. Well, you're picking the person, so.
and even if it's a draw, or you're going to disadvantage yourself now, and if you're competing against that guy, like, come on, like.
Faith Fish said, how will it work to move up levels? So that I know you get priority entry if you're in the top 30 of each division to Toyotas. To be completely honest, the pro circuit struggles to fill its roster every year, and they end up inviting co-anglers from the BFLs every year to try to fill it. So if you're fishing well in the BFLs, I say you have a shot to get an invite to the Pro Series. But it gets you the priority entry to the next level, which is Toyotas. They haven't announced all the changes that are coming to the Toyotas, but I would say if priority entry is something they feel like they needed to add, there's going to be some more changes coming to that series as well.
The top 30 teams of each division will go to one of the 5.
Yeah, and then the winner of each of those, the boat captain goes to Red Crest, and the co-angler, or I shouldn't say co-angler, the partner that doesn't own the boat, the other team member qualifies for the Toyota Championship.
Yep.
Which is another, that one has co-anglers. So they're not taking, it doesn't sound like they're taking the co's from the Toyota series. So for all you BFL co's, there's still an opportunity. You just got to go fish a different series. I think that has a little bit higher entry fee.
For sure.
So yeah, exciting stuff there. The other exciting thing we haven't got to talk about is our boy Zach Burge locking up AOY in the BPT. Super cool for him. He's been close a couple times, able to lock that up. That's I thought it was really cool when I interviewed his wife, and she said when he first started pro fishing and whatever it was, 2013 or whatever, the one thing he said he wanted to do is win AOI in one of these leagues. That's always been his goal because of the consistency it takes to do it, and he was finally able to do that. And Zach's usually a pretty level-headed guy, but when he locked it up, he showed emotion. I think you got to see just how important it is to these guys to accomplish, a goal of theirs in fishing. So congrats to him.
It was close.
Has a really, really good shot at locking up AOI in the MPFL as well if he can go and continue to have a couple good events there, which would be pretty awesome if he could win them both. So. Yeah, it was fairly close, probably closer than we would have liked it to have been.
4 points difference.
And it's close right now in the BASS and the elites.
Because
I think
where did he finish at in the tournament?
He's in the top 10. That's all he had to do to lock it up.
Yeah, he was 10th. But yeah, so he was good. But it was close because Jacob was second, and he finished 4 points behind in the.
He burned his fish up the first couple days to lock up his AOI. That last day he just went out there because he had to. I think he had that whole dump of adrenaline after doing that. And the last day he went out there and just did his thing. I think he only caught like 4 or 5 fish on the last day or something. He wasn't all in them, but he didn't care at that point. He did what he wanted to do. I think yeah, Wheeler gave him a run, and you can't take anything away from old Jacob Wheeler. That guy's always up there. It was good to see him have a good last tournament, with everything he's been going through with his wife and her cancer and stuff. So, glad to see him finish on a high note. Hopefully they can push through that and, reset for this coming year.
I was happy to see Justin Lucas, man. Justin Lucas has been around for a long time too, got a really good track record, one of the good stewards of the sport, and it was good to see him win that. Make that comeback in that format, man. You can't count anyone in the top 10 out, right?
No.
It's hard to do. And
Especially with the reset of weights. I know a lot of people are against it, but that's exactly why I like the weights being reset, because you can't run away in the first couple days because you get on some hot fish and you pull so far ahead.
I mean, like in the knockout round, Jacob ran away with it.
Yeah.
Beat second by 12 pounds, but then Justin on the final day, he ran away with it by 20 pounds, almost 20 pounds.
And
I will say,
go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was just going to say, and if they didn't reset those weights, it would be very boring for if a guy had like a 30, 40 pound lead and he knew that there was no ability for them to catch up, right? Like, I'm not saying boring, but I'm going to say like the incentive to go out there and bust them. You still get guys going out there busting them. But I like the fact that when they reset the weights and guys come from out of nowhere and win the event, or you're like, how did that happen? Well, that just goes to show you like adjustments, or you just got lucky, man. Just like luck is so much in fishing. You lucked on the right school of fish or the right group of fish, whatever. But I really do like the way that they run that format. I don't think the BPT should change a thing. No, honestly, I don't think they should change anything about the way that they.
I think they finally got it right after several years of.
Yep.
And this smaller field helps too. You know, they make it work, and you know, the period thing works well for them for the forward facing, and they tried the 5-fish thing, but it didn't really work for them. And I think that I think they've come a long ways over the last 2.5, 3 years to correct some of the issues that they had. So it's good to have options to be able to watch. It's just a different method to determine who the best angler is.
Yeah. I was surprised out of Sandusky that somebody didn't win by going catching 877 largemouth. Because we talked to guys when the NPFO were there that were catching 100 largemouth a day, and I think the weight up there was only like 1.25 pounds maybe. So I was really surprised that you didn't see somebody get in that grass. And that
he dropped off. Well, I was gonna say, I don't know what the minimum weight was.
The back, my mouse, and
you're back. I don't know what the minimum weight was. And of course, on championships, usually Sunday or championship round,
I know it was a pound, 1.2 or 1.25 pounds. It wasn't.
It usually like goes up for the last day though, so I don't know what it was. I'm trying to look here. I'd have to go to the actual event, and it's not. I can't find it, but I don't find. Let's see. Anyways, but yeah, you're right. You know, you go out there if it's 1.5 pounds.
Yeah, Jeff said it was 2 pounds.
Was it 2?
Final day. So like that can work for you for the first couple of days probably, but if it goes up, like it ain't gonna work for you.
And that's that strategy that Dustin was talking about, folks. Go back and listen to him talk about it on our show and Spotify and stuff. Like strategy, like super amounts of strategy with that format.
Mm-hmm.
The next thing, I don't know if you guys have been following this, and I am praying that Carl Jochimson wins this event. And it's hard, right? Like there's obviously like, I don't dislike anybody, but I and I don't know Carl, but we know Carl through our show. We know Carl through Hobie. Carl has taken great initiatives to do the global lake cleanup. He was in the lead after day one, Bassmaster Elite Series up on Lake Champlain, no forward-facing sonar event, and he's still sitting in the lead after day two. But not much further behind him is Seth Fighter, who you don't want on your tail at Lake Champlain.
The Austin brothers right behind them.
Both Chris and Corey are third and fourth, and Emil Wagner's fifth. And I'm not going to name them all off, but not only, we were talking about Burge potentially winning AOI for the MPFL. You have a huge AOI race right now in the Elite Series between Trey McKinney, Drew Cook, Corey Johnston.
They're all in the top 10 right now, too.
Drew Cook stumbled pretty bad today. He's now 10 points back for Trey, but it's still, I think, 4 points between Trey and Corey Johnson.
Yeah.
for AOI over there. So it's going to come down to the last event of the year.
Yeah.
Which
Well,
I
tomorrow
think Trey has been finished second in both of the last 2 years. So obviously it's a somewhere he's comfortable.
Yep. I think tomorrow's really gonna be like the deal, right? Because you got both of them made the top 50, or Corey and Trey made the top 50 cut. Drew Cook made the top 50 cut. Drew's in the top 10 right now. Zaldain, man, he's been having a pretty good year. He's in the top 10 right now, but like it's that one I'm curious to see, because will we see another Canadian angler when that's 3 AOIs in a row for the Johnstons, right? And what Chris wins, Corey wins, what Corey wins, Chris wins. And I'll tell you what, like, even if he is second to Trey, Corey going into St. Lawrence River, well, and this is the thing, Trey has a great track record at the St. Lawrence River too. So you can't count him out, but I would not want to be battling it out for AOI with the Johnston brothers on the St. Lawrence River, no doubt, right?
100%. Hey, and shout out Cole Sands.
Yeah.
And John Garrett, 4th and 5th in AOI, and they made the top 50 cut. Like
100%.
A guy, like a young guy. I think he's only been doing it a few years, but like
Cole Sands, I think his third year.
Yeah.
Garrett, this is maybe his second. I think he came in with McKinney and everybody 2 years ago. Pretty crazy and cool to see those younger guys up there. Zaldain stumbled pretty bad. He's down to 30 something now in AOI.
Oh, is he?
38th. Yeah.
He had that one bad.
Well, he's got an 86th place finish at Guntersville and then a 99th at Santee Cooper.
Yeah.
So those ones definitely hurt.
So he's either done really, really well this year or really, really bad this year. Right?
And for Trey, I mean, he has a great year except for Santee where he was 90th.
Yeah.
He's been in the top 20 in every other tournament. Actually, they're in what number tournament is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I think it's 8.
7, 8. So he's been in the top 10 in 3 of the 8. He's been in the top 20 in all the others except for that 190th.
It's going to be Trey, Corey, or Drew. They're all within distance of each other.
10 points is a tough one to make up unless those two guys stumble, but it's
well, you still got 2 days left here. That's the other thing. So you're right. It requires some stumble, and you got one entire other tournament. But like Brandon Cobson in 4th is 70 points behind Drew. So like
Drew could win. I'm doing math real quick. Drew would have to win this event or the next event and finish in the top 3 in the other one to be able to make up those 10 points.
Well, it just depends on how the other guys finish.
Because now, that's assuming they finish in the top 10.
Yeah. They would have to. Someone would have to go out there and stumble tomorrow and not make the top 10. At least one of them probably, and then he'd have to finish, maybe win it and do. You're right, top 5 or something.
He'd have to win in top 3 if the other guys just finish in the top 10. Because even if he wins this tournament, he'll still the best he can be is second. He can't make up those 10 points in this tournament because right now he's sitting in 3rd, and he's still more than winning's only 101 points. 3rd is 93, so even a win wouldn't put him above whoever's leading. Well,
no, Drew's sitting in 9th right now.
Which is 93 points. Yeah, whatever he's sitting in, it's only 93 points if he were to finish at the tournament finish today. If you win the tournament, it's only 101 points. So he can't make up those 10 points just in this tournament.
No, you're right. But
yeah.
One
thing I know is bass math, as confusing as it can be.
Yes, it is.
I don't know any of it.
I haven't been wrong yet, have I, Trey? Not with ours anyway, which follows pretty much the same points. Let's see.
I just sent you guys a picture of David Fuchs at the grocery store watching us while we're live, and hopefully you guys have an awesome trip up there in Maine. Have a good night, Jeff, man. Thanks for jumping on. Yeah, dude. Holy cow. Well, by the way, Pete, I just have to let you know that your mom and dad's cat is absolutely evil. And it hissed at me like 87 times and tried to attack my feet.
Probably warranted.
Yeah. As I'm sitting here, it's just like walking up. I'm like, what's happening?
Yeah, it's mean.
Well,
I think I've only met that cat like one time. It was mean.
Oh, it's very mean.
So, Trey, you ready for practice tomorrow?
No, practice starts Sunday. So,
Button's in a really inconvenient place.
what's that?
So that button's in a really inconvenient place. I'm gonna have to do something.
Yeah, I mean, I'm ready for practice. So practice for the Bassmaster Open, the final one for Division I up on Lake Erie out of Buffalo, New York, starts on Sunday the 16th. So we get 3 days of practice, off day, and then the tournament starts on the 20th. And man, I'm running on fumes, dude. Like we moved our daughter. It was a bittersweet moment into her college yesterday, a couple hours away from us, and got back to the house at like 10 o'clock p.m. And, good friend of ours, Mike Johns, we travel together. He was at the house playing with the dog, and we didn't go to bed till like 1 a.m. And then we literally left at 5 this morning. So we're running on truly 3 hours of sleep. So I got up at 4. So, but fortunately, this is where awesome relationships come into play. Like we were able to drive up here to Pete's mom and dad's house and hang out with them for the evening and have a nice home cooked meal and spend some time, drink a couple drinks and stuff. We're probably going to go to bed here shortly. And then we're going to push out to Buffalo tomorrow and check into our Airbnb in the afternoon and then, get everything squared away for practice. And I can tell you right now, the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to not probably make a single cast on the first day of practice. It's probably going to be a lot of running around and just graphing, looking for the things that matter up here. I'm not going to give too much out, but it's pretty much common sense. Everybody that has any sort of idea of how to smallmouth fish knows what to look for out here, but I'm going to do a lot of graphing, a lot of burning, a lot of gas, listening to a lot of music with my earbuds in. And I got a full line of spinning rods and casting rods rigged up for practice day 2 because what my intent is to go around and find fish. And then my intent on day 2 is to check the caliber of the fish if I find them. And what I mean by that is, am I on 2s? Am I on 3s? Am I on 4s? Whatever. And then go from there. Weather plays a huge factor up here, as people from the Great Lakes region know. The winds are everything. And so although the weather apps tell you one thing, everything is subject to change from the Great Lakes weather gods that play around up here. So, running this water is going to, depending on where I go, is going to be dictated a lot by weather. Because one of the things go ahead.
I was going to say, fortunately, the weather app says it's supposed to be pretty good right now for the next.
You never know, right?
No.
And that's the thing. Anybody that's fished Florida knows it may look sunny and beautiful, and then all of a sudden a storm rolls in. And kind of the same thing happens, growing up in Michigan and spending a lot of time on Lake Michigan. I've never been on Erie before. I spent a lot of time in Michigan. I would assess that it's kind of the same situation. You can get a front that moves in, you get a strong wind out of the north or the west or something. And they're not tracking it or it just comes about. So that's going to play a huge role. And then, really just trying to isolate a zone and not run all over the entire Great Lake Erie and Niagara River, just find an area that's got fish and hopefully the right caliber of fish. And then, some of the key baits that I'm going to have tied on, from a moving bait standpoint and more of a dragging bait standpoint is, that one cast fishing 5-inch and 3.5-inch sunfish stinger right there. And I'll probably pair that a couple different ways. One, just straight swimming it. 2, dragging it in a couple different methods of dragging it, potentially drop shotting it. It just depends. And then the other bait is the Nighthawk, also sunfish laminate, right? Which this is a really good goby imitator, in my opinion, right? The color matches the type of bait forage up here. I also got the alewives as well because there's both that kind of forage in this place. So I'm gonna do a lot of, and it's a forward facing sonar event, right? So it's gonna give me a good idea of like how the fish are wanting to eat, if they're wanting to chase, if they're wanting to not chase, if they're feeding up, if they're feeding down, and stuff like that. So you got to kind of cover all the different zones. And luckily, like I'm pretty comfortable with that technology. And the one thing I will say is that it's been a year since I, set the hook on a smallmouth. And if anybody's ever smallmouth fish, like they don't fight the same way as a largemouth. So I'm going to have to set the hook on some fish regardless, just to make sure I have the right rod, the right line, everything paired, my drag set perfectly. Because Pete, as well as I do, like smallmouth come out of the water like a rocket, and they'll spit your hook. So I got to make sure I got sharp hooks, the right line, the right parabolic bend for the power rod I'm throwing and the bait I'm throwing, and I got to find the right caliber of fish, man.
Easy.
Yeah. You can definitely see I think I won't give the number, but there's definitely less anglers in this tournament than there was in the previous three. I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that guys know that they're not in contention for qualifying for the elite qualifiers. So they chose not to show up. I can't tell you what the number of cherry pickers are because the opens do allow people to jump in and cherry pick. But it's a little bit less. It's not much less. So we still have a pretty good field size. But if the winds do anything, it could make it pretty small up here. It could really force a lot of people into that river and stuff like that. There's going to be guys that send it out into that big water. And not that I'm, you guys know, like I don't care about fishing big water. I know the Great Lakes can be extremely overwhelming, but I'm also not like going to risk and sacrifice safety if there's 4, 5, 6 foot waves up there, and it's going to be almost impossible to catch them potentially anyways. Nevertheless, like sinking your boat or doing something stupid.
I don't know. You say that, Trey, but you find a school of about 56 pounders, and
that's different. That's different,
You win that thing, you'd be like,
yeah. I mean, that's different, and and they do a pretty good job. Like Canadian law and New York law, they do a good job at kind of like telling you exactly what you need for safety equipment. And they may not tell you why, but you should understand why. Like daytime signaling devices, nighttime signaling devices, alternate means to either anchor or steer or move your boat. All sorts of stuff, whistles for sounding your position, stuff like that. So there's a lot of other like little things in here, hard copies of your licenses and stuff like that. Like for anybody fishing up here, if you come up here and you're going to fish international waters, what I call it, right? You crossing the border. I guess it's not international. I guess it's international waters, isn't it? Anyways,
yeah.
You need to pay attention to the rules and regulations. Like you really do. Because the last thing you want to do is spend all that money driving up to a place like this only to get potentially fined or disqualified from a major event or just straight up like die, which is highly possible on the Great Lakes. So yeah, man, we are very light. I will say that there's a lot of light tackle. Cause I kind of want to keep it simple, stupid, and just catch fish the way I like to catch fish. And, luckily in North Carolina, we do have a couple of fisheries that they're not smallmouth fisheries, but there's fish that kind of act like smallmouth, if that makes sense. And so I've been focusing a lot of time like going to do that. So hopefully we figure it out. Hopefully we don't land on, 100 different schools of drum, and we can catch 5 of the right brown fish. Drum are also brown, so 5 of the right smallmouth every single day, and finish this year. Because we know we need a strong one because we've had a terrible year. So, but nevertheless, man, it's a great opportunity to get out there in front of the crowd, promote a veteran-owned company like One Cast Fishing and all the other support networks that make it possible and stuff. And it's a really cool experience. And I can't say enough about how great Bassmaster has been from an organizational standpoint. So looking forward to it, looking to seeing all the friends and stuff like that. And then, the season's not over, So it's just not like we got NPFL Military Classic and Special Operations Bass Anglers September for NPFL Military Classic, November 6th for the SOBA tournament on Lake Norman. And then we got to turn around, and Pete and I got to get ready for the Fishermen National Championship at Decatur, Alabama on Lake Wheeler, which I'm super pumped about. And then, figure out what we're doing for next year. So, Yeah, man, that's pretty much it. And hopefully I can bring you guys some success.
Bring that trophy home.
We're going to try.
Great success.
Yeah, that would create quite a bind for you. If you won this tournament, you're going to fish the Classic or the Fishers of Men.
So I might fish one day of the Classic, then I go to the Fishers of Men, fish over there, then fish one day of the Classic. No, man. Like honestly, if we got stupid lucky enough to qualify for the Classic, we got to fish the Classic.
Yeah,
there's no brainer, right? Pete, go win the Fishers of Men National Championship.
0% chance I'm fishing the national championship. If you're fishing the Classic, bro. I'm gonna be right there with you, dog. Like that ain't happening.
You know what? And if it's not me, I hope it's one of our good friends that's also fishing the division. Whether or not it's Mike Johns himself, Brandon Parsons, good dude. There's way more out there. I mean, these fields are super, super big. That's one thing about the Opens. Everyone needs to understand they're big, big fields. But regardless, man, congratulations to the guys that pretty much already solidified their EQ berth. And hopefully we can bring one home from North Carolina.
Yes, sir.
There you have it.
Awesome.
All right, man. We'll go get some rest.
All right.
Appreciate everybody jumping on. Make sure you check out all those sponsors scrolling across the bottom to make it possible for the show. They also help us in our fishing adventures. So, appreciate you all. Make sure you check out those recorded episodes. It did not drop yesterday because it's been a long week at work. Make sure you grab your One Cast fishing gear and help us continue growing culture of anglers, helping anglers one cast at a time.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Oh, God, it's a toad, son. It's a toad, dude.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day.
Come down.